Welcome, ladies and gentlemen and ladies, all good people. Welcome to another week of the Medicine Ball Podcast. It's your host, S2E5. And before we get into it, you already know, let that beat drop. Yes, welcome to the Medicine Ball Podcast with your boy S2E5 to be exact. And if you're in the shape, at least your brain should be. Welcome to the Medicine Ball Podcast, where we focus on giving your brain a six-pack by exercising your mind. But what exactly does that mean? Now, exercising your mind is dedicated to the idea of actively thinking about and dealing with all situations by first seeking to do anything other than what you are normally programmed and or comfortable in doing. Now, I already know if you're not someone who purposely looks for alternatives as opposed to reacting in ways that require little to no effort, because let's be honest, that's easier. This will first require that you start practicing the idea of looking at things with an unbiased point of view, which in itself will increase your curiosity in life. Now, most aren't used to this way of thinking, but like anything you want to get better at, it requires effort, practice, and hard work. Now, exercising your mind won't give you all the answers. You will, however, begin to live life with more empathy, understanding, peace, while equipping yourself with more options and effective tools to deal with this thing called life, all right? Now, I am not a psychiatrist, nor am I a psychologist. I have, however, been diagnosed with bipolar disorder level 1 for 16 years, and I got to a point in my life where I was forced to look at the person I was becoming versus who I wanted to be. And that included looking at my mental health and dealing with it in a responsible way. So, whether you're somebody who's diagnosed with a mental health disorder or not, or one of the many people who I'm sure can use some tips, tricks, and hacks to this thing called life, this is your family. You could have chose to be anywhere in the world today, and you chose to be with me. You already know I never take that lightly, so let's get right into it. So I want to get right into it. This week's episode, second win. Let's go. So I want to get right into it with you guys, because it all stays on topic now that I've thought about it, because I wrote down show notes. Ooh, that's nice, because I'm about to roll right into it. I've already been writing. Okay, let me start from here, man. I want to be transparent with y'all, and I'm not going to be long-winded. So anybody who knows me and who's been following me knows how I get down, knows my way of looking at things, and it's really like this for anybody. If you're passionate about something, man, you will find a way to get it done. You will find a way to be motivated about it when you're down and whatnot. And this week's episode is second win. Keep that in mind, all right? So it's like when I first started this podcast, I felt that I had enough knowledge of what was going on to start it. And just it was something that I felt I should get out. It was just burning inside of me. And I did due diligence on some things. But like I said, if you know me, as I intensify and I grow and I learn through my obstacles and adversities in life, I really learn it. And in some situations, I may be frustrated at somebody who I didn't feel helped me. I'm not even gonna lie, even with the marketing and getting followers and up and whatnot, my brother, he has his own thing and he has that figured out. And it's I'm getting to a point where now I'm having discussions with him about things and programs that I'm using for the podcast. It's oh yeah, man, yeah, I know, I'm familiar with that. Oh yeah, that's what I always use. You gotta have an email list. And I'm thinking this dude here, you my bro, you ain't even put, but in retrospect, second win, I want y'all to keep that in mind. I'm not even mad at him, because I went through a lot to learn the things that I have learned. And all of that to say, I appreciate you guys' support, and I have been doing everything I can do to think from you guys' point of view and how I interact when it comes to somebody with some content they want me to follow or look at or listen to or subscribe. And I realize it's not maliciousness or anything. You got to make stuff easy. Now, with that being said, I'm a conscious guy about a budget. I do my research, but even my website, right? That's just an example of me being transparent with y'all on a hard lesson. I should have known, instead of being cheap and impulsive, I should have researched where I bought the domain from. They had a deal on it. I'm not shouting them out, but wherever I bought the campaign from, the domain from, they had a deal and a semi-website. I can't even call it a website. It's a landing page, but they was going to pay for the domain. So it wasn't even that expensive, but it was just all right, I'm going to run with it. But I didn't know, now, if you go to another website, which I'm using WordPress to create this new website, and anybody who knows about that, wowzers. But I didn't know that something as simple as the domain transfer process is 60 days. I could have had the website at least out there for everybody to interact with. But I'm learning. RSS feed, so how I'm able to distribute to iTunes. And it's I know and look at analytics, but it's There's analytics for Google, iTunes, Spotify, Anchor. Everything got its own system. It's a lot of stuff to juggle. It's a lot of stuff to carry. Even an email list. You know what I mean? So it's like SEO, search. How can I be populate when you guys search stuff? And it's like I'm doing a lot and I'm being transparent with y'all, but like I'm starting to see enough stuff to know I'm heading in the right direction, which keeps me motivated. So if you've been supporting me, I appreciate that. MedicineBallLS3.com. I'm constantly updating that website. Like, if you're just now catching, if you follow that website, I promise you, like, if you really rocking with me, man, you know what? I'm gonna use this story right into my seg, right? So if you really rocking with me and you like somebody who just peeks at the website, like it ain't much, you know what I mean? It's pretty much a landing page, but you can actually grow and see stuff that we take for granted on these major websites and we're so used to that like I have cried and shed tears and like sat and looked at a computer for like no joke like 4 hours frustrated about. So like right now in my website, something that bothered me is like when you go to a web page, right? And they have like one big page, but at the top they got the little joints you could click and it'll scroll you right to the part, right? Like, so it's called a jump link, right? I know that now. I mean, it's called a couple of other things, but listen, you guys have no idea. So, like on my page now, there's up there, I think it's home, about, or feature, but even something like that, when you press the home, it'll scroll to where my podcasts are. If you press like about, it goes to my about. If you press feature, it goes to the things I do, and et cetera, et cetera. Something like that. You guys have no idea. I have cried. I have complained to people. I have moaned. I have whined. I have almost gave up over something that simple that frustrated me on the bigger scale of things when I just looked at WordPress and I realized now I have to know what a web host is. Oh, I want to have control over my podcast. So the plan is, you guys, is to eventually have it to where my future and permanent website has like a place for my podcast and the people who listen to me. I wanted to have it to where like they can have access to all my podcasts if you're subscribed to the Medicine Ball Gym or whatever like that, versus people who are just casual listeners. So just that idea alone led me to figure out, okay, first of all, you need a website. Okay, why does this free and this one cost money? Oh, this is free because you got to design it yourself. Cool, I'm with that. Oh, you got to design it yourself. Oh, you need space on the server. Okay, you need a web host. Oh, why can't I control my podcast and locking them and all that? Because I'm going through somebody else's server. I need a podcast host so I can store all my stuff. So it built from that, and that was frustration. And man, I'm happy now for that small victory. And I know that y'all like it's nothing, man. Let me tell you something, man. Like, whoo. I should have took a shot or drink or something that night. I should have really turned up. Like, because once I figured out like what it was called and I had gone through so much other stuff looking at WordPress and coding and things like that, it literally took me like 10 minutes to do that joint. That's the other thing. It took me like, I ain't even gonna say 10 minutes, like maybe 5 minutes, like something I did casually. You know what I mean? So like the point is I got my second wind. I got my second wind through the frustration. And that's what this week's episode is about, man. Yo, y'all, please go check that if y'all listening to that. Just click on them joints, man. You don't even gotta read nothing because I got my second win, and you could even hear it in my voice. That was a major victory, and that alone was able to give me enough to start pushing towards looking at building a WordPress email distribution list. Like y'all about to get hit real hard from me, and like share this because we're growing. I'm getting people on like my Medicine Ball LS3 page is like at 73 followers. I can be transparent. Meanwhile, my producer page is up there. I got all kind of people. It's at 73 followers, and it's like not even a majority of my people. They're people in the community. That's something else that I'm having to do. I have to take time and go into these groups, and like if I see a question, like I have to go stop and search. And I'm not complaining because this is something I love to do and the passion is burning me, but I'm just like letting you know what's going into it so y'all can see the second wind and the idea of what we're going to talk about in this podcast. Like, I'm to the point where I downloaded the Google and analytics and the trends and all of that, and now like I'm searching like what are the most commonly asked questions pertaining to mental health. I'm on that level. You know what I mean? Like, what do people search when it relates to mental health? And I got to take those angles. I got to find those groups. So it's a lot in it. And on top of all that, we talking about a web page. We talking about text message lists. It is a lot. And this is on top of, the 9 to 5 thing. But my point is the second win. So again, me being a researcher, I immediately went and looked up like, yo, what is a second win? What is the definition? And the thing that stood out to me the most, or one of the definitions I saw that stood out to me the most, is a second win being this thing where after you performed poorly, don't worry, I got you covered. I'm not going to let you down. I got some up my sleeve, and it's going to have a little bit of humor in it, all right? So, medicineballls3.com. Go check that webpage, man. It has the links to all my social medias. I just added a Facebook Medicine Ball, but everything is pretty much uniform, man. Medicine Ball LS3 on Instagram, Twitter, and on Facebook. I think it might be a little bit different. I'll verify that. And I'm available on all platforms to listen to, man. My links are on my webpage to get to the groups and all of that, all right? Check this beat, and we're going to get right back to it. This week's episode, second win. I got you. Let's go. Yeah. Welcome back. Medicine Ball with your boy LS3. If you ain't in shape, at least your brain should be. Welcome back to Medicine Ball, where we focus on exercising your mind, giving your brain a six-pack. Season 2, Episode 5, Second Wind. I gotta stop playing around with these podcasts. You're like, yo, okay, lesson learned. And it's crazy. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I got 3 or 4 podcasts. It's just already recording everything. But it's if I get the inspiration, I feel like I would be shorting everybody and shorting myself if I didn't speak on stuff that showed y'all what's going on in my bipolar mind, if you want to call it that, and how I gotta overcome it. So it's I don't know, man. I just gotta chill sometimes. Sometimes my second win be too much. If I'm running a race, I'll run off the track. Cause I was just playing around with this podcast, man, and all I wanted to do was rename the podcast so that I could know the season and the number of the podcast. Just wanted to put season 2, episode 5. And Lord have mercy, that joint disappeared. I went on a forum. The nerds, and I'm a nerd too, the nerds ain't know what to do. And long story short, I just had to change it back to the original day. So take that out. Make sure I put _ data. The joint is back. We back. All right? Oh, that's crazy. So, how are we going to do it? Second win. Even in that situation, and I'm torn right now. Y'all are seeing raw emotions, man, because it's I already had it queued up what I was about to talk about. I already have my show notes, and that comes from, again, all the stuff that goes with the podcast. And when you sit here, you were getting all your, I don't know how to explain it to you guys, man, and I know I shouldn't be laughing right now, but it's just man, y'all, go back and listen to the podcast 2 weeks ago. I think it was patterns, habits. It might have not even been that. It might have been the one last week where I was talking about having a solid foundation. You know what I mean? It was last week. I was talking about the big bad wolf, and if your foundation not solid, man, it's going to be problems, because I did something with the podcast last week that made the joint be late. It's going to be late again. Welcome to Medicine Ball and my transparent life. So, all right. So a lot of times in life, there's stuff that we overlook, even the big bad wolf. It's a story that we don't really we know it, and we can know it by heart, but we overlook the meaning in it. So with my research self, I was kind of down and frustrated about a lot of stuff with the podcast. So I take opportunities to get a laugh. Y'all know me. I'm all about getting the win in when you can. Foreshadowing, I'm all about getting the win in when you can. Y'all not going to get it into the third seg. Whew, I'm ready for that. But look, so I'm man, I'm not about to tell about the little engine that could, but you know what I mean? Because it's I halfway remember, and I was man, I don't think that really goes to it. But then it's just from there, I don't know. I'm into music. I ended up clicking on Old Blue Eyes, Frank Sinatra. Because he had a pretty dope song. And now, I ain't even gonna lie, the song's not even dope, but the message behind it is dope. And it starts off, when you feel down and your chin's on the ground, There's a lot to be learned, so look around. When you feel down and your chin's on the ground. Y'all didn't even know that. Fast fact, I played Daddy Warbucks in high school, and my high school was like predominantly white at that time. But just what makes that poor little ant rubber tree plant, man, whatever. I went into the rubber tree plant, and it's like, I looked at the lyrics, right? And it says, everyone knows that an ant can't move a rubber tree plant. Everyone knows you can't start a podcast with no experience and not really knowing what's going on. And it starts to say stuff like, when troubles call and your back's to the wall, there's a lot to be learned. That wall could fall. Bars. This man Frank had bars. When troubles call and your back's to the wall, there's a lot to be learned. That wall could fall. Dang, that's deep right there. That's bars. So, having the strength to push forward is realizing, and this is my way to explain it to people, man. You have to be able to do something foolish, but not stupid. So when I say that, I'll use the actual definition of second wind is also known as a runner's high, but I'll just use that as an example. You dead tired, your body don't work. What's the worst could happen if you could just be like, you have to do something foolish. So you have to take that moment to push yourself just to see what it can happen. A story for y'all, man. I got them coming off the head. This is facts, man. This is funny. I don't even know if there's footage out there, but so I was coaching a boys basketball team at one time, right? And it was really, really diverse. Without too much info, it doesn't even matter because I love her. My blood cousin is married. He's a black guy married to a white woman. They have beautiful kids, but, you know, they integrate. They allow them to see both sides. So the basketball team was just like black and white boys. You know what I mean? So it was real good for me, but that ain't the point of the story. This is the point of the story. I slept on him. This is when I started realizing how old I was getting, and this is one of the things that forced me to start getting into shape, that first cycle. So we run in suicides, right? They're not suicide. I don't know if they call them suicides where you run, you touch the floor, you run back, run, touch the half court, you run back, run. Whatever those is called. I think they might be called suicides, which is kind of the right name for them. So this is after a whole practice of like 7 and 8 year olds. And it's like, I ain't really working out. I'm not really eating good at this time. And I'm just out there. And so me and my big mouth, I was like, yo, if y'all can beat me in these... if y'all can beat me in these suicides, I got ice cream for everybody. Yo, I probably still owe these, but I don't know. I think I got some of them their ice cream, but like these folks is like gotta be like 17 now. Dang, that was 10 years ago. But anyway, so we run into suicides and like I start off real cocky. You know what I mean? Run to the first one, not even running. And then the second one, I think I might have even ran backwards to the half court line or something like that, right? And then I started realizing, like, yo, these boys got energy. Like, they gonna beat me. And there's like 12 of them. Like, I just didn't want them. Like, my competition was like, I'm not about to buy these guys ice cream. So, bam, we get back. Now you gotta touch that third line before the final one, which is a full court run. At this point, I'm sprinting because these folks is getting me, right? And I get to that line. I come back. Now I'm going all out. There's a point to the story. This is the last one, and I remember it like yesterday. This had never happened to me before in my life, and it has never happened again since. Yo, I was pushing myself to where like I could not even go any further because I was like, man, and I think it was the end of practice. All the parents is all around. Everybody's there. The next group to practice is there. And I'm like, I'm definitely can't get beat by these young boys. And I'm pushing myself harder than I ever thought. And I kid you not, my legs gave out. Like literally, I've heard people talk about it. I've seen it happen. Listen, my legs just died and I fell down and like everybody was laughing and everything because it kind of looked like I did fall because like I was running full speed and my legs stopped working. But I was able to play it off. And meanwhile, in my head, all I'm thinking is, man, I want to please legs. Let me be able to at least stand up without it being... The point is, you have to push yourself. You have to take that kind of recklessness to see what happens. It didn't work out. My legs gave out. But you know what? I was like, yo, I'll never in my life be in a situation to where I'm that not in shape or don't have that much muscle strength to where my legs is gonna give out when, you know what I mean, on some casual stuff. You feel me? So even in that failure, this is the point I'm trying to make in that funny story, man. Yo, I promise you guys, like, that was not how I planned to take this seg, but it made sense to what I'm saying. I was at that point, due to the circumstances and due to my competitive nature, willing to give it my all past what I could even think capable was doing. And unfortunately, in that situation, it didn't work out, but it really did because I made it my business. Like, they don't want no smoke now. Y'all hear me? Isaiah, my little cousin, man, holla at me, man. Y'all don't want no smoke now. And it made me a long-term lesson because it's just like I refuse to ever let myself get that out of shape at all, no matter what I'm doing. But that is the point, man. You have to, because here's the thing, right? If you're in a situation where something is overwhelming or it's too much and something of that nature, if it was something you really wanted to quit, you would just quit. If I'm crying about a website and I'm depressed and it's not even fun anymore, and it was something that I really wanted to quit about, that was the point that I would have quit. If you're looking for a job, that is the point you would have quit. If you're dealing with somebody who's difficult to get along with, there might come a point where you have quit. But here's the thing. If you're sitting there and you're thinking about it and you're analyzing it, man, because I could have quit. Like for a hot 2.5 seconds when I played with the name of this title, for like 2 seconds, I was like, man, the podcast might not even happen this week. I kid you not. You may feel that, but if it doesn't immediately take you, then you're already starting your second wind, right? Because instead of quitting, I was like, man, let me at least go to a forum because I know I'm not the only person who this has happened to. And sure enough, I literally typed in project, change name, lost files, and like, you know how Google populates it? The rest of that joint said gone wrong. And I was like, oh no. And that reminds me, I'm gonna have to take time after this. I left their website up because I'm gonna go put the answer because they had some crazy stuff to do that probably worked. But like, I'm about to do all of that, cutting the name and formatting the file. So I'm gonna go in the forum and post what actually worked. But it's just like, I'm gonna save that for the next seg to end the season 2, episode 5, which I know for sure after all of that second win. Go ahead, take a second, man. I got y'all. We're going to close it out on something real nice, right? All right? Medicine Ball with your boy LS3. Check this beat. We'll be back with you. Yeah. Welcome back. Hey. Medicine Ball with your boy LS3. Season 2, episode 5, second win. If you ain't in shape, at least your brain should be. Welcome back. You already know. Let's get right back into it, man. Exercising your mind, getting your brain that six-pack so your legs don't give out or your brain don't give out when it's all on the line. Yo, I hope y'all enjoyed the last seg, man. Like, I tried to be real transparent, but it's like hilarious, but it's just dope. Like, how that was able to just like line up with everything we got going on, all right? But so let me bring it all to a close here, man. Second win. LS3, I get it. You gotta push when you think you can't. Find what works for you, give yourself a kick in the tail. And I often hear people say stuff like, yo, that keeps you asleep at night. Or why does that keep you asleep at night? Or and I used to be a person, I'm gonna be honest with you, who used to be like, yo, I never let nothing keep me asleep at night. I look at things through black and white. Matter of fact, I look at things through black and red. That's how I used to look at all things, through black and red. And I'm gonna leave y'all with this. I'm gonna put this together and leave it with y'all. Black and red because that's profit and loss. When you talk in business terms, you're in the black or you're in the red. And when it came to relationships with women or friends or even situations, like when I finally got to the point where I felt like I just wanted to give up or be just done with it, I just be like, yo, I gotta treat this like a business thing. Cut my losses. Cut my losses. But I no longer think that, and sometimes you gotta cut your losses. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, trust me, you'll know when you're fed up with something and want to quit. You'll know if it's something that's keeping you awake at night that you can really control or do something about versus something you probably need to let go. If you're exercising your brain and you're following everything that I'm saying, you will know when those times come. However, so I'm a person who's diverse and likes to get myself in, a few, not too much, but a few things. And one of the things that's been new within the last 12 months is stock, right? So I used to look at everything just like cut your losses. I'm going to tell you something about stock. And when everything's overwhelming and everything's falling out, that stock is plummeting. It's over with. You losing everything. Or that situation might be out of control. You losing your peace of mind, your sanity. If you exercise in your mind, there are people, when that happens and they're losing everything, they're rubbing their hands together. They're excited. They got the Birdman rub. They're excited. You know why? Because anybody who knows anything about stock trading and frequency and things of that nature and really put an effort and time into it and understanding it, when that frustration happens, they understand there's a trampoline somewhere. When that stock is plummeting, unless it's just chaotic, there is a trampoline somewhere. And anybody who does stock listening to this will vouch for me. They just can't see the trampoline. But based on the research and the trends of the past, they know a trampoline is there. And they know when they hit that, buddy, if they rolled it out, if they didn't exit out of MetaTrader, yeah, I know a little bit about it. If they didn't exit out of that viewer or that trading window, if they still sitting there scratching their head, they haven't given up yet. So now they go into formulas. The trend show around this time, it hits this, da-da-da-da-da. That second wind kicks in. You get that runner's high to stick it out. And here's the big kicker, you guys. You get your second win within that second win. W-I-N. You get your second win within that second win. Because you just stuck something out that seemed impossible. You ain't even know how you was going to do it. You ain't even think it was mentally capable for you to get through that. And you stuck it out. And then realizing, whoa, it's starting to swing in my favor a little bit. I got to call back. I don't have a job, but I do. That business I did that I never had time for because I was working for somebody else. That relationship, this person's finally starting to come around. It might be 3 months before you talk. Oh, man, it was worth it not just completely cutting them off. And you get that win within a win. Y'all know how I get down, man. I'm always about trying to define the victories and things of that nature, but that's why I titled this. If you paid attention to the title, you should have known it was coming. But you get a win within that second wind and ultimately exercise your mind and learn another tool, technique to deal with life's adversities that are going to come. So just keep that in mind. I'm telling you, some stock people who listen to this like, yeah, heck yeah, man. I love when that joint falls out because I know it's going to turn around and everybody backed out the trade. And that's right when it turns around. Yo, you got to have hope. And if you have enough courage to push yourself to the limit and understand that, because you also got to take the mindset like, it might be a situation where it's just not going to work out. It's nothing I can do to make this situation work out. Or even with me willing to give my second win, it's not going to work out. This podcast may not work out. I may run out of money. I may not be able to do it. I may not get the proper following. I may not get the proper listening. But I'm willing to chance it. I'm willing to continue to run these suicides because my mental isn't going to let me give up on something that I feel passionate about. And yours shouldn't either. And you have to know yourself and exercise your mind so you can tell the difference between passion and something that's bothersome you can't control. Because even from a religious standpoint, man, I'm into my devotionals and everything, man. I was reading one and it said leave, but then the next day was know when to stay. Sometimes you got to stay because there's a lesson in what you're going through that's going to make you a better person. I'm telling you, I would not trade deleting the podcast for nothing. I would not trade those nights where I was frustrated about the jump links on my website. I wouldn't trade that for nothing once I was able to get it and be like, that's light. And you wouldn't either. So, lick your wounds. It's okay to let something bother you and get down about it. But everybody has some sense of pride. There is no such thing as the right amount of pride to be like, yo, am I really going to let this be? Is this something that if I really put in the effort, is this something I can handle? Can I sleep quitting? Because if you want to give up on something and you don't have the second win, it shouldn't be something that's going to keep you up at night after you quit, or else you really didn't quit. All right? So I'm going to leave y'all with that, man. If you're facing a situation that's difficult in your life, man, this is what I leave y'all with. If you're facing a situation that's difficult in life right now, no matter what it be, and I know some situations are harder than others, but somewhere along the line, there's one that you can pick, and you can choose to continue running so you don't have to give those kids that ice cream, and maybe your legs go out. But maybe it teaches you an overall lessons to never be in a position to where your legs go out in the first place, like mine did. So, y'all hang in there. Real quick, man. Call to action. Because I'm keeping these joints short. I've been doing all this research at the time and all that, and it's about that time. So I'm out. All right? Call to action. Like, subscribe, share. I got some ideas, but reach out to me, man. I do actually have one guest planned. I don't know exactly how we're going to work it out. Like I said, I got asthma, and with the COVID, I'm not even trying to really risk it. But, medicineballls3.com. All my links to everything on Instagram is medicineballls3. On Twitter, it's medicineballls3. Facebook, man, I'm going to have to holler at Facebook. But the Facebook Medicine Ball personal page is Lorenzo. And then the last name is the letter S and 3. Yeah, I'm going to have to holler at Facebook. They wouldn't let me match it up, but I'm going to go show them everything else matches up. Like, subscribe, share. I ain't going to keep y'all. Yo, you got your second win, man. You got this. I believe in you. All right? You guys are not alone. Thank you for all the support. I love y'all. Keep y'all head up. Till next week, you got this. Yeah, I'm out.